loud that darn cricket is, but at least I'm laying on my bed where it's comfy. So I'm gonna try to tolerate the sound. So, I guess we'll try to tolerate it. Alright, let's do this. This way. Go this way? They're inviting me to go this way. My heart leapt, because there, gaping wide, was an open mouth in the eerie darkness. What's this? What is this? When I strained my eyes, peering into the darkness, I saw something that looked like a light switch. In addition, there was a switch with open and close written on it. When I resolutely pushed the switch, rough lights that you find in a coal mine turned on sporadically, making a staircase that stretched underground come hazily into view. Eerily enough, it looked more like a gloomy with the lights turned on. Near the light switch was that open and close switch. It would probably be open or close, this, but the open part happened to be broken. I might be shut away in this creepy underground air for all eternity. So for the time being, I didn't touch that switch. And as I readied my gun again, I slowly went down the stairs. The ceiling was very high, so it didn't feel cramped. On the contrary, it felt as though a cool breeze was flowing upwards. That creepiness seemed to form a sort of aura. As I readied my gun and carefully stared forwards, I descended down the stairs. The walls, the stairs, the lights, all of them were very old-fashioned. It was easy to suspect that this had been built back when the mansion had been constructed on this island. There were cracks in the ceiling, and water clung to the walls, constantly dripping down. That water fell into a gutter that had been set up alongside the stairs, and quickly and silently flowed into the underground darkness, as though it was telling me to go faster. The staircase kept turning back on itself. I don't know how far I've gone, but I think it's much deeper than one floor. Eventually, a rough metal door showed itself. There had been characters written in a dark red paint. They had probably been written a long time ago. On the 10th twilight of journey's end, you shall attain the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. My heart, which was about to already explode, jumped even more as soon as I recognized those deep red characters. There's no mistake. This is the last stop. Father's Golden Land! Oh, I forgot to do something. Just give me a moment. Okay. I calmed my throbbing heart and somehow regained my composure, and readied my gun again. But since in the end, I couldn't open the door with my gun held in both hands, I lowered the gun and carefully hid my breathing and opened the door. This place is... My first impression when I saw this room was that it might be linked to one of the rooms in the mansion. That's right. It had exactly the same atmosphere about it as the sealed VIP room on the second floor. But this was underground and there were no windows. There was only one solemn light of the grand chandelier. Even though it was dimly lit by the faint light, the quality of the interior was more than enough to take your breath away. A bed with a canopy, and a rocking chair that looked like it could be comfortable to sit in. an extravagant sofa and carpet. The room was like a dream every girl yearns for at least once. And yet, since it was an underground hidden room with no windows, it felt more like a hidden house of a witch. I never swallowed the legend of Beatrice, Witch of the Forest. However, after being shown this room, it certainly became hard to doubt that she actually had existed and had lived in this room. Is someone there? Even though I was completely shocked by this room, I carefully, timidly searched the interior with my gun raised. And at the back of the room, I found it. My gasp came out strangely, like a bunny being choked. After all, after finding something like this, no one would be able to stop at that kind of stupid voice from leaking out. It's here. It's really here. Father's gold! On the opposite side of the canopy bed, it was piled in with a massive heap. It was a mountain. A mountain of gold ingots! Of course, they weren't piled up carelessly in a way that would damage the dignity of this room. A beautiful scarlet satin weave was laid on the... Sorry, satin. My bad. A beautiful scarlet satin weave was laid on the mountain of gold, creating a beautiful three-color mix between the red, the gold, and the black of the deep darkness. It was as though when the witch slept on this bed, the gold would be a respectful chamberlain waiting on her. Nobly, refinedly, gracefully, beautifully, it was intentionally piled there with an imposing air. When I tried to grab a single gold ingot, I was surprised at its weight. It was probably about 10 kilograms. Just this ingot would probably be worth more than 10 million. The Ushiramiya family crest, the one-winged eagle, was lightly imprinted on it. It was hard to tell whether it had been worn away or whether the impression had been carelessly made in the first place. But it was certainly the crest of the one-winged eagle. Just how many ingots were piled up there? By doing a quick count here and there and judging by the height, there had to be at least a few hundred at least. My mind's already gone blank, so I can't do the math well. Even a moderate guess would put it above several billion yen. That's right, of course. After all, there's 10 tons of gold, right? At the current value, that's more than 20 billion yen of gold. I found it. Before anyone else, I found it! In front of the mountain of gold, I spread my arms and looked up at the ceiling. A laugh without a trace of dignity flowed out from my entire body. I had no intention of laughing in a weird way, but I couldn't hold back the happy feeling that was flowing through me. My older brother would probably not accept this loss just because I found this gold. But from now on, there would be no change of the fact that I had been the one to find it. To seal away the hedge of the family, some more subtle bargaining would probably still be required. But after everything I've gone through until now, that's a completely trivial problem. Even if I lose out on the Ushiramiya family headship, I already have 20 billion yen worth of gold. At times I thought that money is such a worthless thing. I thought there were so many things in this world you can't buy with money. But now I can see that's just a lie. Just an excuse that the have-nots make for themselves. In front of this mountain of gold, I finally realized something so obvious. By using this money, I can give birth to all the happiness in the world. With this money, my husband's company is already saved. We will always be happy as a family, and I can even leave a vast sum of money to George. The rest of the relatives will eventually be ruined and disappear. At the time, George will use this gold, and just like grandfather did, he will revive the Ushiromiya family's lost honor. George is the true successor to the Ushiromiya family. It happened! My wish was granted! The dream I wished for ever since I was born into this world as Ushiromiya Eva has been granted completely at this very moment. My husband and I will be happy for all eternity, and I can also give my only son George eternal happiness. There's no way I'd waste it on foolish pleasures. My older brother has chewed the Ushiromiya family to bits, but George and I will revive it. That means I truly have succeeded the Ushiromiya family headship. I was successful. I did it, honey. And George, your mother, finally succeeded. No one will be able to threaten us now. That's right. After this, never again will we be smothered by sad nights.
Congratulations, me. Congratulations, Ushiromiya Eva. Right here, right now. That sad half of our life will have its heart's desire granted.
It's all thanks to you. I was given this chance because of your magic. Because of the chance, I was able to make it here.
Thank you. But my magic wouldn't have been granted if we both didn't believe in each other. So, isn't it just the power of my magic?
Oops, my bad.
So, it isn't just the power of my magic. This is our victory. Because of that, congratulations, us.
Thank you, me. Thank you, Ushiromiya Eva. I'm glad I didn't give in before now. I'm glad that I didn't drown in sorrow and forget to keep struggling. No, this is my magic. Our magic! Your magic was the real thing. Beatrice, the Witch of the Forest, is nothing more than an illusion. You are the real witch, a wielder of real magic. That's right. Right now, you are the Golden Witch Beatrice! Huh. Interesting. Oh, yeah, the cricket's getting louder. I hate how crickets are like that. They think they're so cocky and they can make more noises. I really hate crickets. Ava decided to leave for the time being. When she climbed the stairs again, trying to leave the secret place, she saw a creepy, swaying human shadow blocking her path. Her dreamlike state was blown away. Who is it? For an instant, she believed the true master of this room, the real Beatrice, had appeared. It seemed the other person was also holding a gun. The two of them were pointing guns at each other. But eventually they realized who the other was. Rosa. Nei-san, what are you doing in a place like this? That's my line. What business do you have in such a place? I shouldn't have given you that hint, Nei-san. If I hadn't, I definitely would have been able to reach this place first. Too bad. It seemed that Rosa knew where the staircase went, and was way ahead of her. In other words, Rosa was number one! Rosa's smarter than Ava! She's just too nice. Or something. Who knows? You should talk. Even though I reached this place before you. I worried too much about the Sweet Fish River. The Sweet Fish part didn't really matter at all, did it? That isn't true. It was an excellent hint, wasn't it? Well, of course. Maybe there was no need for it to be sweet fish. But when I heard that sweet fish are fish that go out into the sea, I was able to figure it out. What's inside? Why not see with your own eyes? It definitely won't betray your expectations.
Don't be afraid, Nei-san. I never had any interest in who becomes the head. I don't even care about the Ushiramiya family name. Honestly, I actually feel good about you stealing the headship from Kraus, who's always swaggering around because of it.
Are you serious?
Of course. I'm the outsider of the Ushiramiya siblings. Even if father had named me as the next head, there's no way Nei-san would accept it. I try not to have such naive dreams. Hold on, my foot is numb because I'm sitting on my bed rather than an actual chair. But I can't sit in the spot where it would have it because the stupid cricket. Okay. Let me see too, Nei-san. This is proof of your victory. As long as I have received the proper portion that the siblings agreed upon, I plan to proactively acknowledge you as the true victor in this game.
If you shoot me, then you'll have all this gold to yourself, won't you?
The same goes for you. If you shoot me, this gold will all be yours. For a tense moment, the sisters point their guns at each other. Eventually, they seized up the glint in each other's eyes, and they lowered their guns. Ava removed her finger from the trigger and held the gun upside down. It was positioned she couldn't quickly shoot from. When she saw that, Rosa held hers the same way.
That's right. The plan of shooting the other and having all the gold to ourselves is attractive for both of us. But if one of us suddenly disappeared with this island, while it's isolated by the typhoon, there would be a huge uproar. If we hid the corpses here, it probably would be found easily, but we couldn't be sure.
No matter how many billion yen worth of gold is on the line, it isn't worth the risk of committing murder. On the contrary, that would give Kraus and the others ammunition to ring us for all we're worth.
I agree. It may have been a blessing in disguise that you're the one who showed up, instead of Nei-san or Rudolph. You're the sibling I trust the most.
Uh-huh. Thank you. And you're the sibling I trust most, Nei-san. I want to see the gold too.
Want to have a peek? Now I feel like seeing it again too. Even though I saw it with my own eyes, it still doesn't feel real, unless I see it together with you and confirm once more that it actually exists. It feels like the gold will turn to fog and disappear.
Ava started descending the staircase once more. However, she didn't carelessly expose her back to Rosa. Even though at a glance it looked like Rosa had lowered her guard, she definitely didn't show any signs of carelessness. Then they reached that room of the witch once more. Rosa also gasped, stunned speechless by the vast amount of gold. Rosa and Ava walked absentmindedly through the rose garden. They had left the guest house secretly, so they had to be careful when they returned. It was time to snap to it and keep their guards up. Congratulations, Nei-san.
Thank you.
You decided, didn't you, Nei-san? 50% goes to the one bearing the successor to the title of the headship. It certainly worked out well for you, now that the portion isn't Kraus's. So your share is now 50% along with a quarter of the rest for a total of 12.5 billion yen. Isn't that incredible? 2.5 billion is enough for me. Rudolph won't complain either. Kraus will probably be the only one to complain.
Yeah, you're right. After all, Nissan is the de facto manager of Rokkenjima, and since the gold was on these premises, even though I was the first to discover it, things might get complicated if I don't handle it cleverly.
It won't get complicated. Didn't we give it our all in that discussion last night with that in mind?
I wonder if it really would go that smoothly. I've already gotten over my excitement. How we manage everything from here on out is the real problem.
That's a problem for the new head of the Ushiromia family. A problem for you to enjoy, Nissan. It has nothing to do with me.
That's big talk coming from you.
I'll support you as the second discoverer. If you at least give me the early payment we decided upon, I'd like 150 million yen by March.
Yes, that will be fine. If you support me, I'll graciously pay you that much. I'm not Nissan.
Anyway, why don't we go and shock Nissan and the others? Even if we cover up the actual location, I want to see Krause's shocked face as soon as I can.
Wait a second, Rosa. Wait a while before telling everyone about it.
Huh? Why?
You idiot! Isn't it obvious? This is what that haughty Krause and that sly Rudolph were talking about. Even if we do announce it eventually, it's certainly too early now. Unless we carefully investigate how to make our next move, it's possible all the gold we finally found will be snatched away by Nissan.
Ava thought she was saying something extremely natural. So when she saw Rosa's expression suddenly cloud over, she was a little surprised.
What are you unsatisfied about? You know what kind of a person Krause is.
Nissan, that's against the rules.
What do you mean?
Didn't we make a rule that whoever found the gold would announce it immediately? If you hesitate, the foundation of the rules will be destroyed. That could lead to something worse in the future. With Krause as crafty as he is, that violation of the rules will come back to bite you.
Don't be stupid. This is Nissan's island. And that gold just now wasn't cash. We're talking about the liquidation of a vast 10-ton mountain, right? It will take a significant amount of time to carry it off and turn it into cash. That will only work in Nissan's favor since he has practical control over this island. Don't you even realize that?
I don't like it when you search out each other's weaknesses like that. All I want to do is reach a clear decision regarding my 2.5 billion portion. Of course, if you were to give me 2.5 billion cash right now, you'd be free to continue negotiating however you like. But until I have my share in my own pocket, I will follow the siblings' rules.
How can you be so naive? You don't understand Nissan's craftiness at all.
Give me a moment. Okay. I need to do other things in order to compose. Sorry. Because I'm not in a very comfortable sitting position. Okay. It wasn't that Rosa didn't understand the craftiness of her older siblings. In that sense, Rosa more or less understood why Ava was being so cautious. But in her heart, she couldn't clear away her suspicion that Ava wanted to keep the gold all to herself, because she knew that Ava was at least as crafty as her other siblings. In other words, Rosa wanted to put a stop to any chance that Ava had to keep the gold all to herself, by quickly informing the siblings of the gold's discovery.
Rosa, sorry, but at least listen to me this once.
Are you saying that if I don't listen to what you say, you won't be able to get me that 150 million?
That isn't the way I wanted to say it. But if you really need that money, supporting me is a more realistic option. If you talk to Nissan and Rudolph, even the portion that's your natural right might disappear. You don't want that, do you?
For a while, a severe expression that she never shown to her sister before rose to Rosa's face. There wasn't even a trace of her restraint as a younger sister. There was just the ruthlessness. No, The seriousness of a single human arguing about a vast sum of wealth. Eva made light of it, chuckling.
My. How careless we must be to stand around here talking like this, even though a frightful murder case has just taken place, and the culprit still might be on this island.
I'm sure it was just the servants play acting. There were no murders on this island in the first place.
Oh. So you do think that after all...
Just give me a moment, I'm in pain. Okay, let me get comfortable. Okay. The circumstances surrounding those 6 deaths show us that clearly. A crime from the outside couldn't possibly have created those 6 closed rooms. Dr. Nanju said they were all dead, but that was a lie too. This is all a complicated act that Father cooked up. All the servants are just playing dead. A murder never occurred in the first place. There's no way that there's a murderer prowling around.
Huh. I'm surprised you noticed. You look pretty scared, so I didn't think you figured out so much.
I'm good at reading the mood of a situation. I've got you to thank for training me so well.
That's right. Come to think of it, now that the servants are dead, almost everyone on this island is a member of the Ushirimiya family. As for Nanjo, he proclaimed the deaths of the servants, but when the relatives began to discuss the riddle of the epitaph, he disappeared off to the second floor as if he didn't want to get in the way.
All of it was an act to try to get us to solve that epitaph. And that's why you need to announce that you're the victor, Nissan.
There's no way that burnt corpse was really Father. He got a corpse with a number of toes from somewhere and went all to the trouble of burning in a creepy way of his, so we would see it.
I'm sure he's hiding somewhere watching to see how we'll behave. I bet he already knows you reached the Golden Land, Nissan. That's why you should announce that you're the winner soon. I'm sure Father will appear out of nowhere to applaud you and proclaim that you're his successor. Then again, I still got to pester you for that 150 million, so I can't stand against you in any way.
So you'll listen to what I say and keep quiet about this to Nissan and the rest. Make your position clear, Rosa.
I want to tell them. We made that rule just last night. We shouldn't just throw it away.
Of course, I will announce it in front of the siblings. However, I want to closely analyze the situation first. We've got to carry out 10 tons of gold, convert it into money, and distribute it fairly. Until I have proof that I can do all that without Nissan getting in the way, I want time to think. I only want to postpone my announcement until then. I'm certainly not keeping it secret because I want it all for myself.
You'll definitely announce it to everyone sooner or later, right?
Yes, of course. Even if I want to rub it in Nissan's face as soon as I can. Wait, even I want to rub it in Nissan's face as soon as I can.
About how much time do you need to think?
I won't know that until I've thought about it.
Will one night be enough?
I can't promise you that it won't take one night.
Out of respect for you, the successor, I'll support you for one night. This year's family conference will end tomorrow morning, when the typhoon passes and the boat comes to get us. That's right, when the seagulls cry. I'll remain silent until then. If you still feel that you need more time to think after that, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there, okay? I'll support your position, to the best of my ability.
You really are cunning, aren't you? I'm surprised. Were you always this resilient?
I guess it's true that women become stronger when they have a child. I realized that myself when I had Maria.
Understood. For the time being, thanks to your cooperation. We can talk about tomorrow when it comes.
Yes, that's right. I'm convinced you'll be a fair-minded successor to the headship, one who never even considering taking all the gold for herself.
Isn't that obvious? I'll split the gold evenly among the siblings. No. Alright, give me some time. I need to reposition. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's do this. Because I'm accumulating body heat and it's not fun because this room's stuffy.
No way! I found it! Besides,
Wait, oops.
No way! I found it because we saw the epitaph of the riddle! So this gold is all mine! I won't give it up to anyone! I'm the head of the Ushirimiya family! I am!
The witch inside Ava claimed exclusive possession in a loud voice. Of course, that didn't reach even close to Rosa's ears. It probably hadn't reached Ava's ears either. Indeed. I shall acknowledge it. You are the true head to the Ushirimiya family, chosen by the witch's epitaph. Now I acknowledge it upon my name.
You are... that outfit! You couldn't... actually be... Beatrice?
Maybe Beatrice was happy that Ava had called her by her own name. She cackled cheerfully. In concert with that laugh, gold butterflies crept up as though a storm of gold dust was spinning around the room. The room shone the color of gold. Indeed, I'm the Golden Witch Beatrice. There is no need to be so frightened. I am praising your exploits. Truly excellent. Imagine that you would spectacularly solve the riddle of the epitaph. It is worthy of my admiration.
You're the one who sent that letter. So I'll inherit all the gold and the Ushirimiya family headship, right? You wrote that in your letter. And I overcame that challenge.
Indeed. I shall acknowledge it. Right now, all the gold piled up here, and everything of the Ushirimiya family is for you to do with as you please. After all, from this moment on, you already are the Ushirimiya family head.
Really? It's true, right? Right?
Do not be so agitated. I am openly praising you. As proof, I shall grant you this. Beatrice took a ring off her own finger and held it out to Ava. She fearfully accepted it and realized it was a ring.
Could this be?
Indeed. This golden ring is proof of the Ushirimiya family headship, returned to me from Kinzo. From now on, it is yours. You may place it on your finger and hold it high before your siblings. No one should doubt that you have now succeeded the Ushirimiya family headship. Ava stared closely at the ring. It certainly wasn't a fake. Without a doubt, it was the real thing. She dreamed of receiving this ring someday. Focused on this day over and over again. And now, it was finally a certainty. This ring had now designated her as the head. It had been handed over to her. And, timidly, she put it on the middle of her left hand. In that instant, she felt a deep emotion welling inside of her she never felt before. Her mind grew blank. Both eyes were opened. That ring was now on her own finger. Not in a dream, but in reality. That ring is also pleased. After all, it managed to reach you, one who dreamed of putting it on their finger for so long.
The ring. Father's ring!
How many nights have you dreamed of putting that on your finger as you've done now? The strength of those feelings became your magic and materialized itself. Now you are worthy of calling yourself a great witch.
Who are you? Are you really Beatrice?
I am the Golden Witch Beatrice, the Ushirimiya family alchemist. In accordance with my contract with Kinzo, I will now pass everything on to you. All the gold I entrusted Kinzo with, and all the wealth he built up through that, and the honor of the headship of the Ushirimiya family. And I will pass on my power and the title of Endless Witch.
The title of the witch.
I'll pass on all of my magical power, and the titles of the Golden Witch and the Endless Witch. Following my predecessor's example, I will hand over my name Beatrice along with that title. You may now call yourself by that name.
Eva Gold. The chandelier light, which had seemed dim, now felt too bright.
By my name I shall now commence the succession of the Golden Witch.
The instant Beatrice made that proclamation, everything was buried by a gold sparkle, and changed to a majestic place that looked like an audience hall. In the audience hall, there was a crowd of Beatrice's minions and brethren, as well as countless gold butterflies celebrating this first succession ceremony in 1,000 years. When she looked, she saw Beatrice in the throne that only the Endless Witch was permitted to sit in, holding a golden staff. Reigning with a dazzling dignity, without being ordered by anyone, Eva automatically kneeled, hanging her head. A gold attendant respectfully handed Beatrice a golden staff, in the shape of a one-winged eagle. After Beatrice stood up and received the staff, she laid the tip of it on Eva's shoulder and spoke. It was a proclamation 1,000 years in coming.
Ushirimiya Eva, you have spectacularly solved the riddle of the witch's epitaph and reached the Golden Land. I praise that accomplishment, and honed over all the endless magic as well as the title of the Golden Witch and the Endless Witch. From this point forth you may call yourself by my name, Beatrice. Come, raise your face, then stand and accept the staff.
I'm most grateful. Eva stood up dizzily and took the magic staff from Beatrice's hand. Her hand was trembling slightly. As soon as she grasped that staff, she was wrapped in the brilliant sparkle of gold, as though the gold butterflies were flowing out from inside of her. The instant she succeeded the Golden Witch, Eva felt something in the depths of her soul be reborn. To describe it in a word, it was energy. Energy with a gold color. It felt like she was waking up, as though she had been half asleep ever since she had been born and was opening her eyes for the first time. It felt as though her true eyes inside her eyes were open for the first time in her life.
Indeed, a fitting and beautiful outfit for the Golden Witch. Come, you may show yourself to all these people. Let them know the new witch is indeed you.
Well, let me try that again.
Indeed, a fitting and beautiful outfit for the Golden Witch. Come, you may show yourself to all these people. Let them know that the new witch is indeed you.
Eva. No. The new Oops, I almost said Evatrice or Evatrice. My bad. Let's try that again. Ava, no. The new Beatrice turned around timidly. When she did, the witch's minions, which filled the vast audience hall, honored her with an applause that sounded like the roaring of the sea.
Come, everyone. Replace all the portraits of Beatrice with the new Beatrice. Lift up the words of celebration for the new Beatrice. Ooh.
New Beatrice, congratulations on the succession of the Golden Witch. I hope that you will be able to stand on your own as a proud Golden Witch and as the Endless Witch. Yes, I will do my best. I expect a composure befitting the Endless Witch from you, unlike your naughty predecessor.
Teacher, we're in the middle of a serious ceremony, so please, enough of that.
Congratulations on the succession of the Golden Witch, new Beatrice.
I am called Runaway.
I am one of the 72 demons permitted to serve the Golden Witch. If you are ever inconvenienced in the slightest, please let me know at once. Thank you.
Runaway is rude but reliable. If anything confuses you in your new day as a witch, speak to this man. He should be able to help you.
Predecessor Beatrice.
Oops. My bad. I don't know why I'm messing up. I guess I keep thinking, oh wow. Now that they're dressed up in with like notice how, like all the magical beings all have like different colored eyes usually. That's just what I wanted to say. Sometimes my brain gets distracted, so when I'm thinking something simultaneously, I can't read what I'm doing. Or I can't decide my next move, so. Just give me a moment. I'm kind of in pain. So,
Predecessor Beatrice, it's a shame that I was not permitted to serve you further, even though we've finally been reunited like this. These last 1,000 years have been very entertaining for me. You have my deepest gratitude.
Indeed. 1,000 years with you wasn't boring. Please take care of the new witch.
Yes, I, Renove, will obey the final order of the former Beatrice. You better thank me, okay? I gave my signature to recommend you for the succession of the witch, got it? In other words, if I hadn't signed, you wouldn't have been able to become a witch. So thank me a little, okay?
This is the Witch of Certainty, Lady Lambda Delta. The recommendation of a witch from the Senate was required for your succession as the Endless Witch. Lady Lambda Delta recommended you and became your guardian.
Thank you. Hey! Banto! This kid isn't grateful enough. I think I'll take back that recommendation.
A person making these recommendations shouldn't act like a child, right? If you signed, make sure you take responsibility. Lady Lambda Delta is also the Witch of Certainty. The Witch of Certainty prefers to make fate firm, to create a fate of certainty. She really liked and highly valued your efforts up until today.
Well, you had an unfortunate childhood and all that unrewarded effort. I can sympathize with that just a little bit. It's not like I felt sorry for you or anything, so don't be so full of yourself.
From my point of view, your secession, well, it was more of a coincidence than a miracle. It isn't worthy of my recommendation. This is Lady Berncastle. She's quite hard to please. Still, you could say that just by having her participate in this celebration makes you exceedingly lucky. I only came because this is a rare once-in-a-millennium event. Why am I messing up? God, help. I'm sorry. So let's try again. I only came because this is a rare once-in-a-millennium event, and I hear there'd be some good sake.
New Beatrice, please come and greet us as well. Huh? Oh, I'm pleased to meet you.
The 7 sisters of Purgatory were gathered in a line. The eldest sister, Lucifer, took a step forward and kneeled. This is furniture that serves me, as a gift to celebrate your inheritance. I will send them to you. Once you succeed at this position of the Golden Witch, you will need to carry out the resurrection ceremony for yourself. The 7 sisters of Purgatory perform an essential role in that ceremony. They're a villainous bunch, but they serve their purpose. Have them do whatever you wish.
We will always be by Beatrice's side. Please order us to do anything you desire. We'll accomplish our task without fail.
Ooh, new Animal Crossing furniture. After that, many nobles and minions visited and offered words of congratulations for the new witch. As she responded to them confusedly, she felt as though she was growing lightheaded due to lack of oxygen. She couldn't tell if this was something real or unreal, but there was just one thing she could understand: a feeling of achievement at being permitted to call herself the Golden Witch. That alone was the truth that she could definitely understand. What is all this? Of course I'm not going to swallow this story, but what in the world does it mean? Aunt Ava is the new Beatrice? Are you saying she's turned into a witch? What the hell? I was also surprised to think that someone would be able to solve that riddle. However, that is the rule. I must follow it and pass on the position of the Golden Witch in my name. It is hardly something to be surprised about. At the very beginning, you wrote that rule in the letter and announced it. Ava was simply the first to be successful. That is all there is to say. Virgilia, are you there? Yes, here I am. What does this farce mean? Even if this is a depiction of a strange witch showing up one after another or some of her bullshit, isn't this almost like Aunt Ava turned into a witch? Calm yourself. She has simply received the title of Endless Witch and might call herself that in the future. This succession ceremony is certainly nothing more than an act to promote that child's explanation. Don't fall for the same move over and over again. That's right. That whole grand ceremony was all phony. But at least it's the fact that Aunt Ava solved the riddle of the epitaph. At the same time, it means that she succeeded the Ushirimiya family headship. And after getting 10 tons of gold, Aunt Ava might as well call herself the Golden Witch. Is that it? Damn, it's as complicated as ever. My. Is a boorish human unable to comprehend the grandeur of this ceremony? Oh well. Being unable to read between the lines is what makes you human. Ha ha! I pity you, but I do not blame you. Damn it! Don't look at me like you feel sorry for me. Still, for the time being, there's something I need to check. And that's regarding this younger version of Aunt Ava. In other words, the definition of this new Beatrice. What is that? Even if I tell you of it, you would just persist in your disbelief in magic and witches, correct? So there is nothing in particular for me to explain. Feel free to believe in whatever it seems to be to you. What it seems to be to me? Then how should I interpret this? For now, it might not hurt to view it as a visualization of a separate entity inside Ushirimiya Eva. Of course, you cannot blindly accept that answer, but it's probably a reasonable theory to hold for the time being. In other words, I should think of Aunt Ava and her as the same person, right? Damn, I don't like where this is going. In any case, from now on, my name is no longer Beatrice. I have passed it on to Ushirimiya Eva. which means that I am nameless. Battler, don't you have some name that'd be fitting for me? Shall I accept your recommendation? How about a name that's refined, full of elegance, and a little cute too if you can?
Just Beato is good enough for you. There's probably a big enough difference between Beato and Beatrice to keep people from getting confused.
So the same old Beato, is it? It doesn't feel wrong, but it's boring for some reason. They say the temperature of black tea and a woman's heart are difficult to gauge in any era.
Battler, at any rate, stay calm from this point onwards. The fact that we can now tell her and Ushirumi Eva apart works to our advantage. Compared to the time when that child was still Beatrice. And that's exactly why I like it even less. What's she thinking? That Beato. Over there, the witches formed a long line to bless Aunt Ava, who had the figure of her younger days, and who would now possess the name Beatrice. It was like a witch's coronation. The countless gold butterflies flipped their wings, directing this fantastical gold sparkling place. They were all praising her. As I stared from the distance, I looked at the newly born Beatrice, who had a slightly embarrassed smile on her face. Her expression, which had been lost and confused at first, seemed to be full of happiness as she was finally starting to recognize. That expression didn't look like awe at someone laughing insanely while standing before the gold. There was just the innocence of a person basking in their own joy. As a person who denied the existence of witches, I couldn't view this witch succession ceremony with a joyful expression and accept her. However, when I looked at that innocent smile, I felt like I wanted to offer my blessings, just for that moment. It's always beautiful when strong efforts bear fruit and are rewarded. Aunt Ava, who had always yearned to succeed the headship, who had worked hard since her youth without reward, had spectacularly taken hold of the chance given to her by the riddle epitaph and finally gained that position. How divine is the smile of a person whose childhood dreams have been granted. I definitely won't accept witches, but Fowler put his hands together, making a small sound. It didn't reach her ears, but it did bless her. Congratulations, Aunt Ava. You spectacularly solved the riddle of the epitaph before anyone else. It's your victory without any complaints. I won't accept all that about the Golden Witch and so on, but I will accept you as a new head of the Ushirumi family, and I'll celebrate that sincerely. As though urged on by Balor's applause, Beato also clapped. Bonding moment! It was a slightly odd scene. Balor and Beato, who opposed each other, were standing side by side and applauding the same person. I'm not applauding for a witch. I'm clapping for all of Aunt Ava's efforts up until now.
As am I. I offer my sincere applause as a blessing to Ava, who spectacularly solved the epitaph.
I don't like applauding with you. But, well, I decide I won't worry about it now. Divine punishment won't fall on me just because I clap with you every once in a while.
It's not so bad every once in a while. Still, it is fun to applaud. Even though it was Ava who was successful and not me, for some reason, I'm starting to feel happy too.
That's because blessing someone means the same thing as sympathizing and sharing with them.
I see. Then, I have even shared this irrational happy feeling with you. Since we are a pair of enemies trying to make each other surrender, it is an odd experience.
Well, just for now, let's have a truce and clap, okay? Beato laughed impishly, playing around and applauding even louder, as though eagerly trying not to lose to Balor as she clapped. Balor went along with her and clapped even louder. When he did, as though some ceremony had ended, everyone applauded and highly praised the reborn Beatrice. It was just as though Balor and Beato's applause had been the final thing needed for her succession.
I'll be right back, okay? Okay, I'm back. Just a bit. Okay. Alright. Rosa returned to the lobby. Oh wait, hold on. Hold on, I'm gonna reposition the mic again so that I have a comfortable time. Or a slightly more comfortable time. Sorry. Okay. Rosa returned to the lobby. It was still her turn to rest, but her expression made it look as though she couldn't sleep deeply with all this tension. Take it easy and lie down. Keep this up and you'll have it pretty rough later on. Thanks for the concern. I just couldn't fall asleep. I've already taken a shower, so I'm good for now. The next person can rest. What about you, Kirei? Rudolph? Hold on. I wonder if I'm doing this correctly, because... Okay. Give me some more time. Okay. What about you two, Kirei? Rudolph? What'll we do, Rudolph? Shall we rest? You can rest. I'll stay awake. That's the only manly thing I can do right now. Then I'll stay awake. Staying awake with my husband is the only womanly thing I can do right now. You two truly are close. You two truly are close. You should talk. It seems Eva and Hideyoshi are up cold. It appears that unlike Rosa, they can't fight against their age. As though in response to those words, the door in the hall clunked open. What the hell was that noise? Okay, let's try again. As though in response to those words, the door to the hall clunked open. Eva and Hideyoshi returned from the guest room. That's none of your business. Oh, Rosa, are you sure you don't need to rest yet? You should talk, Nissan. Why not take it easy and sleep? I just can't get to sleep. Taking a shower took my drowsiness away. Rudolph, Kirei, you can rest if you want. Sure, thanks. Well, for now, let's say I appreciate the sentiment. Why don't you go first, Aniki? How kind of you! But I cannot rest first. That is the most I can do as the oldest brother right now. Do not worry, the two of us will stay awake until the very end. More importantly, Eva, are you okay? You look a little pale. Come to think of it, you're right. Could it be a bit of a fever? Hideyoshi put his hand up against Eva's forehead. It seemed that Eva wasn't feeling her best. That goes without saying. That's what happens when you break your sleep cycle at your age. Is it a cold? Natsuhi, could you call Dr. Nanjo down? Yes. I'm fine. You don't have to make such a fuss over it. I have some medicine, so I'll be okay. I tend to get fevers when I'm tired. Don't worry. Nei-san, take it easy, okay? Thank you. If the siblings gathered without me around, I get the feeling everyone would start talking behind my back. It's a persecution complex from long ago. Sorry, okay? Well, I won't say anything. As if I'd say bad things about you behind your back, Nei-san. Okay. I guess you can barely hear the cricket. Sorry, I'm still a little uppity from that sound. What is it? Nei-san, you've been acting strange for a while. Shouldn't you get a little rest now? You're right. Just thinking about raising money by March makes my headache hurt even worse.
That isn't good. Rest. And I'll hold back too, so that your headache doesn't get worse. I have a bad headache myself for a while now.
Thank you. Well, then I'll take those words to heart and rest for a while.
What is it, Ava? Why so angry all of a sudden? Sorry, please let us rest a bit longer. Sorry. After apologizing several times, as though praying, Hideyoshi followed Ava out of the lobby.
I don't like this atmosphere. It's all so strained. That's not surprising. There was a murder early this morning, and since then we've been eating canned food and carrying guns around. It's natural we start to build up stress. I wonder if kids up there are building up stress too. I'm worried about Maria. She tends to throw tantrums at times like this.
At that moment, they heard the sound of wild footsteps coming down from the second floor. The guest house wasn't a cheap building, so they wouldn't normally have heard the sound of footsteps. It was like the sound of someone stamping their feet in frustration. And an instant later, accompanied by what seemed to be the sound of her running out to the second floor hallway, they could hear Maria calling out, "Ah! Over and over again, sounding displeased. Rosa grabbed her head, her hair flying, as she voicelessly moaned in anguish. The adults conscientiously turned their backs to her, pretending not to notice. A noisy clamor came down from the second floor and flew into the lobby. It was Maria, who was sobbing along with the other children and Nanjo. In other words, they all come downstairs because of Maria's tantrum. Rosa couldn't hide her dizziness at this new annoyance her daughter was bringing to everyone. Sorry, Aunt Rosa. We tried to calm her, but she just wouldn't listen. What is it, Maria? Could you be a little more quiet? Everyone's watching. It's that Rose of hers from the Rose Garden. She suddenly started saying she was worried about it. I think she's half asleep. She suddenly woke up and started going on about how she was worried about that rose. Maria, calm down. That was just a dream.
That rose belongs to Beatrice and me! So if I don't take care of it, Beatrice is gonna get mad! It might get snapped off again!
I'm telling you to quiet down a bit, okay? The sudden rise of the tone of Rosa's voice surprised the children. When Maria's crying just kept growing louder, her attention grew fiercer. Rosa, you mustn't scold a child so unsparingly. At times like this, it's best to give them some warm milk or something. Is there any here? The milk we just had for breakfast is empty now. Doesn't anyone have a sedative to use on kids? You know, those silver pill things? I have some! Yes, I'll search for some right now and give them to her! Without hiding her displeasure, Rosa grabbed the handbag that had been set on the sofa and fished around for some medicine. It seemed she had brought some child-use sedatives for Maria's tantrums. She found it and opened the bottle, but it must have been empty. Irritated, Rosa shook the bottle several times. It didn't change the fact there was nothing in there. As she did that, Maria's crying grew even more intense. Hold on. She returned from the washroom, folding a handkerchief soaked in water. Ooh, this is one nasty fever. I bet it's the poisonous air at this family conference that got you. For now, you can forget all about the other relatives, okay? Oh, I love this little moment between them. As Hideyoshi spoke to her kindly, he set the soaked handkerchief on Ava's burning forehead. Ava rested her own hand on top of his. Your hand feels nice and cool. If my hand feels nice, your fever must be pretty bad. Don't worry, the medicine will start working soon. Plus, my hand's a magic hand. I just put it against your forehead like this, and any fever will melt right away.
You're right. Your hand always makes my fevers fade.
Yep. No need for a doctor when you got my hand. Don't worry and close your eyes. My magic will make that fever fade away.
Yes, I know. I can feel your magic.
Hideyoshi was about to say it was just a placebo effect, but he stopped. If Eva said she could feel some magic coming from his hand, then that was fine for now.
I wonder if magic really exists.
Yeah, it does. Only those who can believe can tell, though. There's actually a lot of magic like that out there in the world.
If magic actually exists, I wonder if witches actually exist too.
Oh, you mean that witch of the forest, Beatrice? She probably does exist for those who believe, just like the gods. They don't show themselves except for those with the strong faith.
I did too, you know. Long ago, I was able to use magic.
Oh, really? Then you are a witch too.
I had dreams that I wanted to come true no matter what. After wishing strongly and trying hard, they always came true without fail. With my magic, my grades were always the best, and I even became the student council president and worked hard to get into the university I wanted. Everything I wished for was granted.
That's right. Your magic was always a thing to be reckoned with. You're definitely a witch, and you work harder than anyone. I know all about it.
When I was a kid, the whole time there was another me inside myself who always supported me, and that other self was a witch. I didn't believe in Beatrice, the witch of the forest. I always believed that a witch of Rokenshima did exist. It was the witch inside my heart. I was so grateful to the witch inside myself. I was always grateful that she brought me to you.
You get too timid when you're sick. Don't say anything for now. I'll stay like this the whole time until your fever's gone down.
Yes. Don't take your hand away, no matter what. Somehow, I feel like I'm becoming something that isn't myself. And I've become scared for quite a while now. I get the feeling the witch inside me was provoked by Beatrice and is growing stronger and stronger. Somehow it feels like she's going to swallow me whole.
It's okay. As long as I'm with you, there's nothing to be afraid of. Remember the time we went to that dangerous country and the whole bus got robbed? I drove them off.
Didn't you just hand over your gold watch and beg them to go away? It was pretty lame, but it was cool. Don't move your hand away, no matter what. Not even if I fall asleep. There's something creepy sneaks in here. Protect me.
Yep, leave it to me. That's why I'm telling you to stop worrying and get to sleep. Because the medicine of my magic will start working real soon. Ava finally calmed her heart and closed her eyes.
Okay, give me a bit.
Okay, just checking about that cricket.
I'm sorry, I can't tolerate the sound of crickets. I can't find that thing making noise in the room. So it's really irritating. I'm gonna try again. But whatever. I can't stand the sound myself right now.
Alright, I'm going back to read. At the time, there was a sound of a door being opened violently from the direction of the lobby. It seemed that Maria was having a tantrum. And the screams of "Ah!" could be heard along with Rosa's rebuking yells. That probably hurt Ava's ears. Or maybe it was giving her a headache. Ava moaned as though in pain and buried herself in the covers. It was easy to guess what was happening. Maria probably had a tantrum for some reason and gone down to the lobby and started arguing with Rosa, who then scolded her daughter. And then maybe that got too embarrassing to be shown in front of the other relatives, so Rosa had taken Maria out into the corridor. Hideyoshi had no desire to butt in on Rosa and Maria's problem, but just for now, since Ava's condition was so bad, he wanted them to take their ruckus somewhere else. Wait just a sec. I'll ask him to keep it down.
Come back quickly.
Don't worry, I won't leave this room. Hideyoshi removed the chain, opened the door, and stuck his face out into the corridor. He immediately met Rosa's gaze. Everything okay, Rosa? I'm sorry, did all this noise wake you? Maria, sorry. Aunt Ava isn't feeling well. She's trying to sleep. Could you quiet down a bit? Maria's tone didn't even change after Hideyoshi's request. She kept crying, ooh, and repeating, my Rose, my Rose. Rosa slapped Maria's cheek and lifted her up while covering her mouth, and dragged her toward the entrance, trying to at least put some distance between her and Hideyoshi's room. She would probably still be noisy for a while, but he had warned Rosa for the time being. Relying on Rosa's actions as a mother, Hideyoshi closed the door.
Is Maria having another tantrum again?
It looks like it. It's tough for Rosa, too. Come to think of it, our George is almost too good to be true. We should be grateful.
You're right. And...
Oh, sorry. Look, it's the magic hand. He put his hand on Ava's forehead again. Maybe there really was a magical power in that hand. A truly peaceful look rose to Ava's face, and bit by bit, she began to drift off into the land of sleep. As he had promised, Hideyoshi kept his hand on her forehead. By the entrance, with her hand still against Maria's mouth, Rosa was at a loss of what to do next. She hadn't been able to withstand everyone's gazes in the lobby. She had yelled at the children to go upstairs and dashed out of the lobby. She had then gone in the corridor, only to have Hideyoshi say that she was too noisy. Where should I go now? Where should I take this child who's having a tantrum? She felt as though the tears of frustration were about to come out. As Maria kept struggling in an attempt to scream, Rosa put her mouth up to Maria's ear and tried to persuade Maria in a properly calm voice. Maria, do you really want to see the rose that much? Maria nodded her head several times, moaning, Why do you want to see it so much? I'll listen as your mother, so will you tell me quietly? I'll hit you if you scream.
My rose. Beatrice revived it. It might have snapped off again. I'm worried about that. I can't sleep until I'm sure.
Apparently, she was still upset about that marked rose from yesterday. Rosa felt her headache throbbing again, but she was at least relieved that Maria had now stopped her screaming. Anyway, everyone is having a hard time right now, so don't bother Mama and everyone else. You can worry about that rose all you want tomorrow when it stops raining. So for now, listen to me.
No! No! It's my Beatrice's rose!
Rosa reflexively covered Maria's mouth. She'd spoken a little too harshly and gotten her agitated again. Rosa realized it was partly her own fault and clicked her tongue in self-hatred. When Maria thought it was directed at her, her crying grew even fiercer.
Please just be quiet. What can I do to make you stop crying? What should I do to make you listen to what your mama says?
Suddenly, Maria stopped crying so fast that it seemed unnatural. Then she turned around and muttered,
If I get to see my rose, I'll stay quiet until tomorrow.
Really?
Yes! If we go to the rose garden and see my rose, I'll calm down. I mean it, Mama.
Give me a bit. Yeah, right now, the cricket is giving me that... You know how Rosa can't stand Maria's ooze? I can't stand the sound of crickets.
my god. I wish I could find it. I wish I knew magic. I would just instantly just zap a cricket out of existence. Hold on, give me a bit. Okay, sorry. I just really can't stand the sound of crickets. Let's try again. If it would keep Maria quiet for the time being, Rosa thought that even going out into this wind and rain would be a small price to pay. She thought it might be a bit reckless, but in the end, no murder or anything of the sort had actually occurred. All that clamor since this morning had been a farce set up by Kinzo. If you carefully thought about the chain of closed rooms, it clearly all had to be an act. Will you really listen if you get to see the rose?
Yes, I mean it, Mama. Ow!
Rosa didn't overlook that creepy laugh and lightly hit Maria with her fist, as she shrugged as though giving up. Understood. If it's just one look, then I'll agree. Will that work?
Yes, Mama, I promise.
Once again, Rosa tested the weight of her gun. It'll be okay. It's only an act. There was never a murder on the island in the first place. Damn it! Wait! Aunt Rosa! Are Aunt Rosa and Maria the sacrifices for the second twilight? Damn it, damn it, damn it! Someone notice them! Tell them to stop! What are those guys in the living room and us kids doing? Indeed. They are being considerate of Rosa's pitiful relationship with her daughter, and are forcibly changing the subject. That group includes you went up to the second floor and is talking about something else while watching TV. You bastards! Someone notice them! Who's the closest? Is it Uncle Hideyoshi? Please! Notice these two are leaving through the front door! Ah! It won't reach. It won't reach. Don't disturb their precious time together. Hideyoshi kept kindly talking, his hand on Appa's forehead. He didn't notice at all that Rosa and Maria were going outside through the front door. I'm sorry, it's really loud and I don't have any tolerance toward the sound of crickets. I don't have any place that I can go where anywhere could be quiet. I have to. I cannot stand the sound of crickets. I really cannot. Okay. Alright. Okay. Sorry, I really can't. Alright. Let's try reading again. In that case, there was no way the others in the lobby, which is even further away, would notice. Much less those in the cousin's room on the second floor. Why are you so panicked? Didn't you defeat me with that bold move saying that the culprit died in an accident on the first twilight? Doesn't that mean there's no longer a culprit on the island? What is there to be worried about? Shut up! I can see right through you! Someone stop them! Those two will be killed! Someone stop them! Ah! There was no way Balor's voiceless scream would reach Rosa or Maria. The two of them could be seen in the rose garden. The rain was still awful, but unfortunately the wind had died down a little. No, maybe that wasn't fortunate, because maybe if the wind had been a little fiercer, Rosa might have hesitated to go outside.
rose with a gold lace and stared at it lovingly. Rosa had accepted the promise under the condition Maria would only get one look at it. But she didn't want Maria to complain that it hadn't been enough later on. So she decided to go along until Maria was satisfied. She believed that there wasn't a culprit, but on the off chance that she was mistaken, they were now in an extremely dangerous position. Rosa realized it faintly herself. If things got bad, she would throw away her umbrella and ready her gun. After glancing at Maria's innocent happiness, Rosa gazed warily in all directions. Were her eyes just tired? Even though no one should have been there, she thought she saw something glitter in the dark rose garden. Gold-colored. It had to be her imagination, because to Rosa it seemed as though the gold butterflies were dancing through those rose bushes. Are you okay, Ava? Are you okay, Ava? Just take it easy. Should I call Dr. Nanjo after all? I'm fine. Don't take your hand away. I'm begging you. Don't take your hand away. Ava was breathing wildly. Beads of sweat were appearing on her forehead. It certainly was true she stayed up all night last night, and that things had been rough since early this morning. It wasn't odd that her body wasn't keeping up, even though he understood that. Hideyoshi suspected that this sudden fever was some sign of some serious illness. Several times, Hideyoshi decided to call for Dr. Nanjo, but Ava resisted firmly, pleading with him and saying that it was even more important that he didn't take his hand away. I understand, but you've got to have Dr. Nanjo look at you by lunchtime. If you can promise me that, I'll stay here the whole time gripping your hand. Tightly like this. Thank you. I'm fine. The magic of your hand will definitely take this fever away. Even as she said that, Ava's harsh breathing didn't improve in the slightest. Don't let go. Don't let go. Who is it? She saw an umbrella moving from beyond the rose bush. Rosa threw away her umbrella and wildly lifted her gun. When she did, the shadow of the person beyond the bush showed itself.
Huh? Aunt Ava.
You scared me. It's you, Nason? Do you have some business with me? Do you want to continue our earlier discussion? Yes, that's right. Our discussion about Father's gold. Please restrain yourself in front of Maria. I will keep my promise, okay? I won't get in the way of your conspiracy. Conspiracy? What's that? Whatever you're thinking, that's up to you. I have no desire to get in the way. So please not in front of Maria. As long as I get my share, that'll be enough. Your share. Ava started laughing in a creepy voice. Rosa was startled, but Maria stared blankly. Then Maria just said one thing.
Huh? Auntie, who are you?
Your share? Who would give that to you? All that is mine. It belongs to me, the Golden Witch Beatrice. Ava, are you okay, Ava? Ava! Ava! Hold on! Don't let go! Don't let me be dragged away by someone who isn't me! Hold on to my hand! Don't let go!
When did you ever work hard? You never worked hard for anything. You were always hiding in our shadows. You always escape from shadow to shadow without fighting. And yet you really think of yourself qualified to make demands of me over the Ushiromiya family gold? All that is mine. It's all mine alone as the head of the Ushiromiya family, and the new Golden Witch successor to the name of Beatrice. Beatrice! It's Beatrice! Mama! Beatrice!
Maria jumped at her mother in ecstasy. Rosa treated Maria cold-heartedly and raised her gun high. Hey, you're Nason, right? You're Nason, aren't you?
Wrong! I am no longer the one who was your sister.
Then who are you? Are you trying to say that you're Beatrice? That's impossible! You died 19 years ago! Yes, you were definitely dead. After all, I clearly saw your head was split open. I can remember the insides flowing out like it was yesterday. How can you be alive right here, right now?
The concept of death does not exist to a Golden Witch. The Golden Witch in the name of Beatrice will be handed down for all eternity. Maybe the Beatrice you knew met with death, but that name is mine now, and therefore it's eternal. The concept of death does not exist for Beatrice.
All I can see is the goal has driven you mad. How pitiful, Nason.
Come on, you know I'm not your sister anymore. Well then, as the new Beatrice, I've been tasked with my own resurrection ceremony. Ronove! What should I do?
That is up to you. You already have the power to make whatever you think reality. You should grow used to it once you've tried it out a little.
You worthless former sister! You should consider it an honor to have been selected as the first sacrifice I offer as a witch. On the second twilight, I'll tear the two who are close apart with my own hands!
The first thing the new Beatrice wished for. No, the first magic she tried to use was to surpass the limitations given to humans. In particular, gravity. She wanted to become fully aware of her transformation into a witch by being released from those shackles. As the witch and the Rosas stayed as they were, the ground retreated all by itself, into the distance below them. By now their feet were no longer attached to the ground. Rosa finally realized the earth wasn't retreating into the distance below them, but that she and the witch were being sucked up into the rainy sky. Huh?
Awesome!
For a human shackled to the ground by gravity, there's nothing more unnerving than having their feet stop sticking to the ground. However, to Beatrice, who in becoming the new witch had learned the joy of being released from gravity, it was enough to make her whole body shake with delight.
Hey, Rosa! Do you remember long ago when we were small and we used to talk about what it'd be like to become witches and fly about in the sky? That dream has been granted, hasn't it? I've become a real witch and granted it for you!
Stop it! If this is a dream, then wake me up!
You said it yourself. You said you flew through the sky in your dream. And you also said you didn't want to wake up. You even got mad at me when I woke you up, right? Don't worry. This time you won't wake up, okay? Come, dance with me in the vast rainy sky. Didn't we both wish we could fly like seagulls in the sky and escape the cramped and boring island of Rokenjima? Now I'll make that dream a reality for you. I only want to share this joy with you and no one else. It's so fun, Rosa. It's so fun. Take a look below you. Look at how small our mansion is. I wonder how much time we spent in a place that small. And now I'm especially shocked at how cramped and tiny it is. So feel, enjoy, rejoice! That power we yearn for, the power to move through the sky at will! Come on, let's dance, Rosa! Through the rain, through the wind, let's fly around like we're dancing! The lightning will shine on us and bless us!
The witch and Rosa were like leaves fluttering around the whirlwind. As the rain pounded upon every part of their bodies, as the lightning occasionally shone upon them, they shook with the joy of being released from the ground. However, it was only that way for the witch. Rosa was holding onto her head, voicelessly screaming over and over.
humans to crawl on the ground. Then why not go back there? A slightly displeased expression rose to the witch's face. She realized her own joy was not being shared. Then she decided to listen to her former sister's request. The whirlwind that stopped making Rosa dance around grew weaker and stopped. In other words, Rosa was once again bound by the restrictions of gravity as a human. Following the laws that are originally correct, Rosa began to descend toward the ground upside down. No, she began to fall. Oops! That's right! If I don't take her down the right way, this is what happens! The witch hadn't intended to send Rosa plummeting, but she still wasn't used to using magic. After plummeting about 100 meters into a rose bush, as a very natural result, Rosa died instantly. But the witch hadn't intended to kill her, so she wished that Rosa hadn't died. When she did, gold butterflies coiled about Rosa's body, reviving that life just as the witch had wished. Rosa's body, which should have not been spread out like a carpet of fresh blood, rapidly returned to normal. The broken and crushed bones returned to normal. The torn and smashed flesh returned to normal. How easy it is to break things in this world, and how difficult it is to fix them. Anyone can take a life, but no human can revive a lost life. By surpassing the irreversible one proves that they have surpassed humanity. This surely gave her a much, much greater realization of her position as a witch than flying through the sky had. Awesome! I can even revive an ended life!
Of course, Beatrice is the endless witch. To live and to die. To blame, to...
Let me try again.
Of course, Beatrice is the endless witch. To live and to die. To bring to life and to kill. All of it repeated endlessly. Beatrice, the endless witch, is a queen who controls the cycle of life and death.
One time I knocked over a fishbowl. The fragile and beautiful bowl broke, and I couldn't put it back together again. I never see that cute pop-eyed goldfish swim again after it landed on the floor. No matter how much I cried, the servants shook their heads, saying that broken things and dead things could never be revived. That's when I learned something. You must not break things. You must not kill people. After all, you can't fix them. So if you can't fix them, then you won't get in trouble for breaking them, right? Awesome! 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 Awesome!
For a while, the witch became intoxicated with how terrible and wonderful the power she inherited was. Her laugh was pure, innocent, and cruel. Even though Rosa had been revived, she let out a cry of anguish from the fall. At that point, the witch landed and held out her hand.
Sorry about that, Rosa. I didn't think flying in the sky could be so much fun. Sorry. I'm real sorry. And I didn't know humans could die so easily. But I've brought you back to life, so we're even. So get up, okay? Play with me some more, okay? What were those dreams you told me about when you were a kid? Go ahead and tell me all of them without holding back. As I am now, I can make anything come true, no matter how absurd. Even drowning you in a sea of jelly, even having you sucked into a mountain of cake. I can even make you sprout butterfly wings and flip out the garden, okay? I'll do them one after another. Let's start with an ocean of jelly, alright? Stop it.
Rosa was once again thrown high into the rainy sky. However, the sky wasn't filled with raindrops, but with drops of orange juice. When she looked down, Rosa had to doubt her eyes. The rose garden had disappeared. The ground spread about beneath her was like a pastel-colored jigsaw puzzle. It was an ocean of jelly, like the one she'd spoken of from her dreams when she was young. The black part was coffee jelly. The red part was strawberry. The yellow was pineapple. And the green was melon. And that white part, apple? Did Rosa even have the time to think of stuff like that? Rosa fell toward that multicolored ocean. And she sunk deep into the purple grape-flavored sea. Purple drink! It was really an open ocean of jelly. It had no bottom. As Rosa sank, she was shocked to see the school of transparent fish swimming through the grape jelly ocean. They were probably made of grape skin. She sunk on, deeper and deeper, as deep as the Marianas Trench, crushed by the water pressure of the jelly ocean, as her ribs snapped, as her spine snapped. In the end, she became a small, frail meatball. What a truly wonderful experience to drown in an ocean of jelly! It's a dream no one else can imitate. I made it all come true for you. The instant I snapped my fingers, the meatball that had been Rosa was launched up into the sky. And after being wrapped up in a gold sparkle, she returned to her original form. It was as simple and easy as returning dried seaweed to its original form, and anyone could do it if they were a witch. That absent-minded look on Rosa's face was to be the joy from having that dream she gave up as a child come true. Definitely. Probably. Next is the mound of cake. In an instant, the sky was covered and became black and white in the shape of a chessboard. That almost transparent white part was her favorite rare cheesecake. The elegant black part was the slightly bitter gâteau au chocolat. I don't know how to say that. That became the ceiling, became a mountain, and several billion cakes were thrown down toward Rosa. If you pile those cakes up, they would surely be taller than Mount Everest. So they probably weighed, I'm not too sure, but I bet it'll be heavier than all the cakes across Japan put together. It fell down like a ceiling and swallowed Rosa up. So as a very, very natural result, Rosa was crushed to death. In less than a second, her bones broke through her body. Her insides were all smashed and forced out. Even so, a greater number of cakes piled up on top, and Rosa ended up as a layer of jam wedged between them. She became as thin as a single hair, and was probably spread out over an area of a tennis court. That world swallowed up by cake was once again absorbed by a gold flash. Then, as though it had all been a dream, Rosa was revived once again. Of course, it definitely wasn't a dream. She had been revived after dying. By that point, death, which most humans only have to experience once after they're born, had already been experienced repeatedly by Rosa. In other words, she'd gone through what humans cannot... Okay. Stop fucky-wuckying. Let's restart this shit. Of course, it definitely wasn't a dream. She had been revived after dying. By that point, death, which most humans only have to experience once after they are born, had already been experienced repeatedly by Rosa. In other words, she'd gone through that which humans cannot. The precious experience of dying more than once. Isn't this fun, Rosa? Isn't this fun? Next is the butterflies. Look! Please, have mercy! Ah! No way! Let's play more! Let's play more! Laughing innocently, she pointed her gold staff at Rosa as she begged for mercy. When she did, Rosa glittered gold and rapidly began to shrink. She shrank down to the size of a butterfly, a real one, and gold wings sprouted from her back as she joined her fellow gold butterflies. Damn, she gets to be Beatrice's minions. However, while a human body could withstand that wind, it was a different matter for the butterfly's body. The gold butterfly Rosa was invited to dance by each gale of wind, and she spun in circles around the rose garden. No! As her dance wore her out, she was caught by a gentle bed. It was a soft knit hammock in the shadows beneath the roof of the arbor. The owner of that hammock lumbered into view, welcoming its rare guest, who had wandered in on the night of the storm. That owner, which should have been small enough to crush in the palm of your hand, now looked as big as the top of a canopy bed to Rosa.
What a klutz! You got caught in the spider's web? This time it's a dance with a spider. That takes me back. Remember we find a spider's web and play around by throwing pebbles at it? I heard that spiders don't chew their prey, but insert their venom and the insides melt into a sticky soup. They suck them out. Hey Rosa, remember? Remember how we'd throw butterflies into the spider's web on purpose and play around by seeing how the spider would attack? I guess you don't remember, do you? This happened before you got into grade school. Make sure you watch closely this time, okay? Very closely. No! Have mercy, Nason! Help me! Nason!
This girl's not bad. She can truly use magic at will. Amusing. Amusing. How truly amusing. You feel like laughing too, right, battler? Don't fuck with me! Stop it already! What's so fun? You're insane! You're insane! What's so fun about doing something like this? Doesn't she look like she's having a blast? What do you expect? Magic is fun. I remember when I first be able to use magic. I played around a lot. Ah, I understand. I understand that kind of game for the bottom of my heart. Looks like I won't be able to share this joy and passion with you, battler. Ah, what a shame, what a shame. If you accept me, I'll teach you magic anytime you want, see. It's hard to describe the joy you receive in the instant you're free from the shackles of humanity. I want to teach you about it. That joy, that passion. I'll definitely like to see the world of magic you give birth to. Just once. Isn't this starting to get fun? You started wanting to use magic too, haven't you? It's pretty fun to be a witch, isn't it? Just for you, I'll teach everything. About the joy of flying together in the sky. About the joy of diving together through the sea. I want to show you the passion that exists the instant you surpass the bounds of humans. And see how wide your world stretches. Wouldn't that be fun?
There was no malice in Beato's expression. It was hard to believe, but she was genuinely enjoying this cruel show, and she wanted to share that appreciation with Battler. And Battler was shocked by that hopelessly different sense of values. You're insane! Stop it already, damn it! Vergalia, make them stop this insane farce! What should I do? We exist outside the board. We cannot touch the board itself. Vergalia shook her head apologetically. Her body had already been killed. Didn't that mean she couldn't interfere in any way? As Beatrice continued to look amused in an insane sort of way, Battler lifted her up by the collar and yelled at her. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Quit messing around, witch! Are you trying to tell me that's Aunt Ava? That's impossible! The Aunt Ava I know might be a bit mean at times, but it's completely impossible she's the kind of person who would do something this cruel! This is all part of your deception! Don't toy with Aunt Rosa! Don't toy with Aunt Ava! Stop this farce right now! I told you.
I'm not the one playing with Rosa anymore. Like I said, that's the new Beatrice. Is it really so terrible that you have to squeal like that? You're also pretty fond of stuff like this, aren't you? You actually have just a bit of interest in magic and... What are you doing?
For the first time, Balor slapped Beato's cheek. I'll probably have to reread that part because of that stupid loud ass car. I don't have a single quiet place in this house, so I have a lot of issues with noise, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. Beatrice didn't know why he'd done something like that to her. A surprised expression rose to her face. Balor especially couldn't forgive that expression. He roared. Ah! You call this amusing? What's wrong with your head? Die! Go slice your head to bits and look inside. You'll see there's nothing there. Stop it right now. This disgusting farce. I won't forgive you. How could you do something so cruel? I sometimes thought you could be a bit funny, but I'll never make that mistake again. You're just a monster who's cruel on all levels. Don't show yourself in front of me. Never again. I won't accept you. I won't talk with you. I don't even want to look at your face. Did you hear me? Don't show yourself in front of me. Disappear! The instant Balor screamed, the power that resisted the witch became a red wall and knocked Beato back onto her butt.
What are you talking about? Isn't this an interesting show?
She spoke defensively, but the target of those words, Balor, was no longer there. His figure had suddenly disappeared into the darkness, but Beatrice looked displeased and continued trying to explain herself.
It's not as though I'm completely blind to where you're coming from, but this is nothing more than an innocent prank, isn't it? No matter how you kill them, they'll always be brought back to life in the end, right? I thought humans were a creature who says all's well that ends well. Hey, teacher, there's no reason for him to get so angry, right?
She was hoping for approval, but Virgilia simply faced her with an indifferent expression. To Beato at that moment, even an exasperated look would probably have been better. I have nothing in particular to say. If you think this is fun, you can keep watching as long as you want. Call me when it's over. I will vanish until then. Following Balor's lead, Virgilia vanished into the darkness. Beato, who was now completely isolated and didn't have a clue what was going on, felt they were making her out to be the bad guy.
What's wrong? Isn't this an amusing show? It might be a little vulgar, but it's quite interesting, isn't it? Hey, Renove! It's nothing to get so mad about, right?
Something interesting for you, milady, may not necessarily be so interesting for battle.
Does he really hate me that much? Well, certainly we are enemies and opponents in this competition, but our relationship really so bad that we can't laugh together at this display. Since I applied together with Balor, I thought I could at least laugh together with him. Does he really reject me so much that we can't even do that? He doesn't have to accept me that I'm a witch. We're challenging each other in this game after all. And yet he won't look at my face, he won't talk to me, and he'll probably do all he can to ignore me. Am I really hated that much?
The moves you made up to this point have been more than enough to earn his hatred. Even a demon such as myself can understand a bit of Balor's feelings. Perhaps you cannot understand, because you are especially thick-headed, milady.
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up! Why don't you disappear too?
Yes, certainly. Then if you would excuse me. Even Ronaldo hid himself in the darkness, and Beatrice was left alone. The only one in the rainy rose garden. No one ever plays with a lonely witch. The fact that no one ever does is what makes them a lonely witch.
What's going on? Why won't anyone play with me? Am I really that weird, that cruel? Someone answer me!
Isn't this fun, Rosa? Isn't this fun? Hey, how should we play next? Of course we should play with Maria too, right? Let's all have a friendly walk together, okay? Let's swim in a pot of boiling chocolate, and let's have a picnic in a cake rising oven.
Hey! New Beatrice! Behind the witch that was continuing her mad banquet, Beato showed herself. That expression was very rare for her. It was somehow restrained, unreliable, miserable.
Oh, it's the predecessor Beatrice. Were you watching? The power of my magic is truly wonderful. Up until now, I never thought it'd be so fun to be reborn as a witch. It's like playtime that never ends. Come on, let's play together, predecessor. But first, wait for a second, okay? I cooked the two of them to death in an oven, so I have to revive them again. They're like bread rising from yeast. Like cookies expanding in an oven.
Listen to what I'm saying. Well, isn't that enough for the sacrifice of the second twilight? Of course there are no rules regarding how you kill them, but, maybe you shouldn't toy with them any more than that.
What are you saying, predecessor? I heard from Renove a short while ago. Wasn't your magic much, much more wonderful, cruel, and crazy? The Halloween party where candies poured out of 6 people's stomachs was truly wonderful. So maybe I'll act at Alice's tea party. I'll invite everyone to a tea party in celebration of a completely pointless day and entertain them one by one with my magic. I wonder if I can do it as wonderfully as you. I wonder if I can be cruel in my own pop-cute style. Now that I think about it, all fairy tales are cruel, aren't they? And now I'm a witch inside one of those fairy tales. I finally understand.
I have also, sometimes thought that in the past, I might have gone a little too far. Well, I think that as the Golden Witch, it'd probably be best to show a little elegance.
I don't get what you're saying, predecessor. But there's one thing I do understand. No matter how hard I try now, I'm no match for how cruel you are. I've got to try much, much harder. I've got to become more cruel and become an excellent Golden Witch.
Like I said, you've already done enough here. Anyway, this is an order from me as your predecessor. That's enough for the second twilight. I'll show you how it's done. Stand back and watch.
Yes, predecessor. I can't wait to see what cruel, brutal, disgusting method of killing you use.
The new witch grasped the sides of her skirt and gave a graceful bow, stepping back as an expectant gaze rose to her face. She was expecting an even more cruel magic that surpassed even herself. Well, speaking of that, you're only half a witch, if you can only kill with methods like that. I shall show you an elegant way to kill worthy of the Golden Witch. When Beata waved her pipe, 7 colors of smoke poured out, reviving Rosa and Maria. Compared to how the new Beatrice had done it a short while ago, it was slightly gentler. It was probably gentler than how Beato had done it herself until now. Rosa's consciousness had already grown dim from the pain of so many repeated deaths, but even so she pleaded that her daughter be spared. Please, have mercy! Even if it's just Maria, have mercy! Mama! Sorry. My disciple, acted just without restraint for a bit. Forgive me.
Beatrice!
When Maria realized it was the real Beatrice, she jumped onto her.
You promise, right, Beato? You promise you take me to the Golden Land, right? There I'll be friendly with Mama and everyone will laugh together. You promise you take me there, right?
About that, I can no longer keep that promise, because someone appeared who could solve the riddle. I am no longer the Golden Witch Beatrice. So sorry. I can no longer keep my promise with you. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. So at least an apology for not being able to keep my promise. I'll give you a quiet sleep that will never be disturbed again.
Beato embraced Maria with a loving expression on her face. Let's reread that part. Beato embraced Maria with a loving expression on her face. Then, softly, a red bruise appeared on Maria's neck. It was a very gentle bruise. Its redness grew bit by bit, and it distinctly formed itself into a shape of a red hand. Maria's neck tilted suddenly, peacefully, as though she had fallen asleep.
Maria! Maria! Sorry. I won't apologize that you were the sacrifices for the second twilight. That is simply your fate. However, I must apologize for the vulgar way in which you were offered as sacrifices. This is your final sleep. Never again will it be disturbed.
Beato softly, gently lifted her finger, as though touching the empty air in front of her nose. When she did, a light breeze lifted up, making Rosa's body dance lightly like a feather. Then Rosa's body floated softly. And right there was the garden fence, with its spear-shaped prongs. The spear of the fence pierced Rosa's medulla oblongata, benevolently without toying with her in a single blow. Rosa's life was snapped out. Compared to the earlier innocent yet cruel events, it seemed to be over much too fast. It just looked like a doll shaped like Rosa was leaning against the fence, but she had passed away.
Well, something like that should do the trick.
Beato acted proud, but the new witch wore a blank expression, almost as though this was an anticlimax. Then she said it out loud. It's kind of plain. Not at all like the predecessor Renove told me about.
Well, you must use magic with dignity, right? If it's too, undignified, that isn't very elegant.
Even though you're lucky enough to have the magic to do wonderful things endlessly. How boring.
Hey, don't complain. The path of the Golden Witch cannot be completed in a day. You are still incomplete until you finish the 10th twilight. For now, stay quiet and follow my instructions. Got it? What happened to your answer? Your answer!
Sure.
Very well, that will do. Well, there is still much to do for the resurrection ceremony. You still have to kill 5 people. You should do it without toying with them too much, with beauty and dignity. And with at least a little restraint, okay? What Renove told you about how I did it, that was a bad example. You mustn't use that as a model. Engrave that into your heart.
Yes, predecessor.
A good answer. Renove, the 7-6 of Purgatory, arise. Yes, milady. I, Renove, am here.
Lucifer of Pride, right here.
Up until this point, I've been a little flashy, but, well, the dignity of the Golden Witch is also important. And about that,
as Renove laughed at Beato's uncharacteristically flustered speech, he summed it up for her.
Certainly. From now on, we'll be careful to act in a way graceful, manner suitable for the name of the Golden Witch, even if the 7 Sisters of Purgatory reform their bad behavior up until now. And we will espouse to perform our tasks in the quickest manner possible. Would that be acceptable, milady? Indeed. That's it, more or less. Everyone take it to heart. Okay?
Yes, certainly.
That is all I wish to say. You may leave now. Certainly. If you would excuse me. Excuse us. Well, that's all I want to say, so Take care as you move forward, understand? Act with dignity and, restraint, okay? Give it your all. I will be watching over you.
Acting awkwardly until the very end, Beato left that message and immediately became a cloud of gold butterflies hiding her form in the empty air. Maybe it'd be more accurate to say she vanished in a hurry because she couldn't keep up the conversation. After that, all that remained was Maria's corpse lying down, pounded by the rain, Rosa's corpse propped up by the fence, staring up at the sky, and the figure of the witch. Show some restraint, you say? Her expression looked just a little bored. There was a popping sound. That was probably her clicking her tongue. What a boring person! Leaving that last sentence behind, she once again vanished into the empty air.
Alright. Hold on. Okay, I was worried because it was so freaking loud. I mean, to me, I hear the cricket was really loud. I don't know. Oh, well. Okay, so let's save. Okay, any tips? Nope. Alright, well, what's good is good. Gonna go. Bye-bye.